I've got, let me wipe this off here. Okay, so we've got our, I'm going to start with some butter, I think. Yep. In our little melting pot here. And I think any granola recipe, just watch the liquid that you have or the syrupy stuff that you're going to put in there, and just kind of press it, really press it into your pan, and that should take care of that from turning it from granola into granola bars. If you're mixing up the granola and it's like coming apart and it's sort of dry, then it's not going to work into granola bars. So you might want to add a little bit more honey, a little bit more peanut butter, a little bit more butter, something to give it a little bit more syrupy stuff. You'll see what I mean when I mix it in there. You know, if you were making granola, yeah, you'd want it kind of sticking together, but you don't, you know, when you bake it and then crunch it up. Here you'll see that this will be a little bit more together, a little bit looser, shall we say, as a culinary term. And then you'll know that when you press it in the pan, it'll stay together, and it, you know, when you cut it, it won't fall apart, and you end up with granola anyway. Okay, so we've got brown sugar and butter and peanut butter in here. I'm going to add some honey, about a half a cup, which is about what that is. So still a good mixture. You know, when you think granola, it's always really, really healthy. You got to watch what you put in it, because we're putting peanut butter in it, we're putting butter in it, we're putting honey in it. Although I don't know if you saw, I don't remember where I read this, that buying local honey really helps with your allergies. You know, I thought that's kind of a good idea. All right. So here's our mixture. We're just going to let this melt down and boil. And then we'll stir in some vanilla into this. Now for our granola mixture, we've got some oats. I like the quick oats because they're smaller. We've got some sunflower seeds. I chose the flax seeds this time. Before we used the flax meal. You know, we talked about how good flax is for you. It's got the omega-3. So I've got some flax seed in here, and it's really, they're a little bit bigger than sesame seeds. You can look at it when you come up here. We're going to add some raisins, our friend wheat germ, and then we're going to put in some, in the recipe it says chocolate chips. I thought to make it a little bit different, we're going to put peanut butter chips in there. And we will press it in a pan. It'll be wonderful. Now, when you do this, to add the chocolate or chocolate chips or whatever kind of chips, we're going to heat this up a little, and then we're going to let it cool down just a little bit before we stir in the chips. Otherwise, we'll just have liquid chips, which probably would be okay with the peanut butter, but with the chocolate, it's going to look like a muddy mess. Well, I know, but you know, I thought peanut butter with peanut butter. I already got you the one chocolate thing, Jean. And it's really chocolate. When you get that ganache on it, woo! I was passing that around. All right, that's melted enough here. We'll stir in our vanilla. And then we will put it in our mixed up thing. Let me melt this here. All right, I'm going to pour this in here. Oops, stir that up a little bit. Now this is one where you can do your own thing if you want to add some more nuts to this or whatever. Just be careful of the syrup. Like if you were going to add, you know, 2 or 3 cups of different kinds of nuts or some more raisins or whatever, then just you might want to look at increasing the syrup. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this really good. It's pretty well all coated. It's a little bit more, like I said, looser than the other granola we had. A little bit. Okay, now we're going to get our pan. I did not spray the pan, if that question comes up. I figured. And the only reason I didn't was I broke the top off the spray thing on the cooking spray, and I didn't get a chance to get down there and get another one. I don't know what I was doing. I was putting the lid on or something, and it broke off. I'm like, so I thought, oh well. This really did not stick to the foil, so I thought it was pretty good. So now that we have it in there, we're going to do a little trick with wet hands. Rather than buttering your hands, if you just wet them. This works when you do Rice Krispies too. So you're really going to press it in here. And it doesn't stick to your hands. Sometimes I'll use cooking spray on my hands, but somehow this just works better. All right, now for a little extra measure, I just have a little one, but if you've got a big spatula and you really press this, especially on the edges, because that's where it's going to be if it's going to be crumbly, that's where it's going to be crumbly. And just really press this down. Now, you wouldn't have to use the foil on the pan. That's just me, because then I can lift it out when it's all done. That's why I do it. Okay, so we got it all pressed in, nice and smooth. These are going to look like professional granola bars without the wrappers. Okay. See? You know what? I did this exact same thing and nobody even said it. What did I not do? Put the peanut butter chips in. Okay. So, I know. Okay. Put the peanut butter chips in. It's a little bit easier to get them in there before you already press it in. And they were pressed in so nice too. It was like perfect. All right. You could do it without it. No, I didn't. No, because if you put them in the bowl, then you're pouring that hot liquid on top of your chips. Oops, and that will melt the chips. Okay. We'll try this again. Press it down. Yeah. See if I can do it 2 times in a row. And that is so funny because that's exactly what I did when I was making the samples. Got to put did the exact same thing. But then, you know, it's not a bad thing because it gave the mixture a little bit more time to cool down, so, you know, you don't have to worry about the chips melting. All right, so I got them all pressed in by hand. I'll take that. No, I didn't. My mind is gone. All right. Now, when you have the chips in, make sure that you don't slide your spatula over it, just in case they might be just a little bit warm. You don't want to smear it around. But if you press them, it really doesn't change the shape. One of those funny things. Okay. Okay, there we go. A little side trip there. Now, we will stick these in the oven. And what are we going to bake them for about 15 minutes? Okay, we'll stick them in.